And we head to game 2 here on the day. Women's semifinal number 1. Merced moves on after an emphatic win over Fresno City. And now we turn the page and maybe the matchup of the entire day. Sierra, Mount San Jacinto, both teams have combined 60 wins on the season here. And this is murderer's row in terms of the bracket. This is a loaded team on both sides. Bree Moore, Brittany Thomas, the matchup to watch.
I'm looking forward to this game. The inside, if whoever establishes the inside game, I think is going to have an advantage. It's going to be interesting to see Bree Moore what she does today. It should just be an exciting game.
You know, watch out for some of the other players as well. Players like Chanel Jamison, who had a big effort for Sierra College in the victory over Irvine Valley College. She can stroke it from outside. You talked about a couple of players from Mount San Jacinto as well. You know, in these types of games, you'll certainly have your leadership from Bree Moore, from Brittany Thomas, but it's those other players that also can step up and ultimately make the difference here. So it's going to take a team effort between two teams here that are very evenly matched.
Yeah, I think the player today to watch here, if you're Mount San Jacinto, DeLacy Brown had early foul trouble in the quarterfinals on Thursday, and she finished the game well, but I don't think she put her stamp in the way that she's normally accustomed to putting her stamp on games. Expect her to come out with a sense of urgency, but controlled urgency, so she's not in foul trouble and finding herself in the same situation.
Exactly. And look, both of these teams average 84 points a game. So we should see some offense getting up and down the floor. Also, San Jacinto assists on 20 of 32 of their baskets. I mean, that's good stuff. You know, we're talking about sharing the ball, where Sierra, it's at 16 assists a game. So I can't wait to see this matchup.
Yeah, they're able to accomplish that because they play great basketball, and it's a product of going inside out with Brittany Thomas really collapsing the defense on her. And you have to do it because if you go one-on-one, you can't guard her.
As Mike Zapata often talks about, spacing so critical, and Brittany Thomas really allows for that spacing and allows for the offense to flow.
And we're about moments away from tip-off here. Semifinal number 2, the 2018 3C2A Basketball Championships. We're live from Ventura. About to tip things off here, Sierra, the Wolverines, and the Eagles here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. 2018 3C2A Basketball Championships, and Brittany Thomas wins the tip for Mount San Jacinto in the red. Spins to the baseline, shot up, no good. Rebounded nicely here by Grace Hester. Quickly up ahead. This is A.C. Willis, and Willis is fouled down low. Kayla Gower on the foul.
You see the strategy right away. They're coming with a double team on Brittany Thomas.
And rightfully so.
That can be critical for Sierra early. Bree Moore immediately looking for Willis. She talked about it when we interviewed her after the victory on Thursday. She likes to get some of the other players involved if she can in the first quarter. If she can get a couple of good scoring touches for some of the other players, it only makes her job easier.
Starting from Mount San Jacinto, Madeline Moreau, Kayla Gower, DeLacy Brown, Carla Johnson, and Brittany Thomas. For the Wolverines, it's Bree Moore, Taylor Avila, Peyton Garvey, A.C. Willis, and Grace Hester. 1 of 2 on the free throws for Willis, and we're back the other way for the Eagles. This is Moreau. Moreau off to Gower. Gower at the elbow, picks up her dribble. Circling around, looking for Carla Johnson to enter. Oh, great steal by Thomas with the left, and she struggled with the left-hand finish last time out. Didn't really matter much. She had a monster line. It could have been for 40. And Bree Moore struggled a little bit with her layups as well, so both of them could have had some monster lines, and they ended up having monster lines anyway. Mount San Jacinto now with a 2-1 lead and with the ball. Johnson on the far side. Moore right there to help early. DeLacy Brown looking to enter it in. She does just that. Tapped away by Moore, and it's a steal for Sierra.
Yeah, Garvey on the steal, ends up with the ball.
Moore crossover back to Willis from 3. Short. Johnson, great box out.
Great box.
That's just very well coached there by Carla Johnson.
That's going to be so very critical, too, because that was Taylor Avila working for that offensive rebound, and that's a lot of what she brings for this team. A lot of energy, and she's going to be crashing the boards.
Madeline Moreau will bring things in. Johnson up ahead to Thomas. Thomas filling the middle. Off to Moreau. Moreau waiting for her big to get down the floor. Johnson to the rack. Left-handed layup off the mark. Thomas with the rebound with the putback. No. Doorstep. And it's going to be a jump ball. This is going to be won in terms of the arrow by Sierra. So we're going back the other way for the Wolverines.
It really helps when you can bring your big girl, and she has those kinds of hands where you can bring her to the middle and break the pressure.
Yeah.
What a job for Grace Hester today.
Good luck with all
that's a tough assignment, and Brittany Thomas. But she'll get a lot of help, but that's a lot of pressure working against a player like Thomas, and she'll have her hands full.
I had an opportunity in college to play against the Collins twins at Stanford. That was a tall order. I can only imagine what Grace Hester is going through right now in battling the likes of Brittany Thomas down low. DeLacy Brown driving the lane. Layup up, no good. A lot of contact, and the foul is called. Foul will go against. Looks like that's going to be Chanel Jamison.
Yeah, Jamison checks in very early. I don't think she had the start. She ordinarily comes off the bench, but she had a big game on Thursday, supporting Bree Moore in the victory over IVC.
I'd be interested to see at what point do you bring in Leah Richardson to kind of disrupt what Brittany Thomas wants to do down low. She had a couple of emphatic blocks for Sierra in the quarterfinal. And here's Leah Richardson.
Brown shoots 81% from the line, but she short-armed that first one. And interesting to think perhaps a little bit of nerves here. This is a game of tremendous import, but also it's a big-time matchup. It's got to be in the players' heads a little bit.
It sure is. We have a total of 3 losses between them.
60-3 combined on the season. There's some gaudy numbers in the win-loss column. 8:05 remaining, opening quarter, semifinal number 2, the Wolverines and the Eagles. Right now, the Eagles with a 3-1 lead. Inside look, they're looking for Richardson. Thomas all over it, disrupts that pass. He goes out of bounds, going back to Mount San Jacinto.
Well, Avila gets into the lane and went in the lane, I think, with the intention of passing and passed on what would have been a pretty good look from about 10 feet away.
Spread the word, everybody. www.SoCalCollegeSports.com or on YouTube. You got some friends and family want to tune in, watch this matchup live. They can also watch the archived on-demand copy. SoCal College Sports 1. There's a delayed travel call, but the correct one, Octavia Williams. Some early jitters from both teams, as you guys alluded to here. I think very evident early on.
And Moore, who scored, I want to say 8 of the first 10 points for Sierra in their victory over IVC. This is her first shot.
First shot's a three, a long three. It's off the mark. Thomas with a rebound. Here comes DeLacy Brown, near side. Pulls up, 17-footer, money.
Nice.
Cash that jumper in, and DeLacy Brown gets it to a 5-1 lead for the Eagles. Moore to the bucket. She's fouled by Madeline Moreau, and Moore's going to the line.
Definitely felt like she should have been looking at an and one there.
Absolutely.
But it didn't quite drop for her.
Remember, the layups were an issue. On Thursday for Moore, didn't matter. And she had just an incredible stat line in the win.
And she goes to the line so physically.
And we talked about how she's officiated. It's hard to officiate her because she's so physically dominant and faster than most of her opponents. First free throw up and good for Bree Moore.
And one thing I'll be interested to watch here as this game develops is Bree Moore driving the lane and Brittany Thomas averaging over 2 blocks a game. It's certainly going to be her job to try and disrupt that, but can Bree Moore maybe win that battle and get Thomas into foul trouble?
2 free throws up and good for Bree Moore. It's 5-3 early. 7:21 to go in the opening quarter. Full court press. It's a bad idea, I think, versus a team like Mount San Jacinto. Johnson can handle it. DeLacy Brown very good with the basketball. Here's Williams back to DeLacy Brown. Brown on the dribble, circling up, off to Johnson, inside looking for Thomas. That's a bad entry pass, tough angle, and Thomas gets hit in the face. Richardson not moving her feet. She's whistled for a foul coming across the back.
Yeah, tries to step in there for the steal. And, boy, Leah Richardson getting into foul trouble would be a real boon for Mount San Jacinto because she's got the kind of length that she could bother Brittany Thomas a little bit.
Yeah, she's very similar in terms of stature and body. Both players about the same wingspan. They're going to bring Richardson off for exactly that reason. Here comes Lauren Richardson. Got to believe they might be related. Lee and Lauren.
From the same city, I'm ready to call it, Michael.
Thomas with an offensive board, goes for the putback. That's no good. Back to Octavia Williams. Another possession for Mount San Jacinto. They're crashing the boards early with emphasis. Thomas. The pass, I think, was intended for her. It got away from Williams, and we're back the other way on the turnover. Three-pointer up, no good, and this is going to be a foul on the three. Chanel Jameson. Do they give her three?
They sure did.
Carla Johnson on the closeout there, and
can't hit the shooter in the arm.
We understand why she closed out so hard. Jameson shooting 41% from the floor from the three-point line.
How is she from the free throw line? Because that stroke looked pretty good.
Yeah, Jameson
close to 80%, 76.8%.
Connected on a few three-pointers on Thursday, and working off of Bree Moore, she can be a devastating offensive weapon for Sierra.
You know, a lot of coaches like to do, especially with the program, they round up. She's an 80% foul shooter.
80%.
I'm also 7 feet, but not really. Second free throw is good. 5-all. Nip and tuck early here. Two of the top teams in the top seed from the north. And Mount San Jacinto. All three good for Jameson. It's 6-5 Sierra with their first lead since 1-0. Gower gives it back. This is Rayanna Lasley nearly lost the ball. Thomas on the deck gets it out to Kayla Gower. Going to reset the offense to Lacey Brown inside, and that's a steal and a foul on Richardson. Richardson using the knee for leverage. On Thomas, fourth team foul already for Sierra.
I got to tell you, Marcia, I'm watching Lauren Richardson, Leah Richardson, in addition to Grace Hester, and I think the feeling on the sideline is we got 15 fouls to work with here on Brittany Thomas.
Right. Let's be physical. Let's double team her.
And Gower travels here, and that's a great job of pressure on the ball by Bree Moore coming over and initiating the contact and speeding her up, and Gower shuffles the feet. Sierra working from left to right. There's going to be a foul inside. This is going to be number 2 on Gower, I believe.
Marsha, I wonder as
they're going to call that on Thomas.
Yeah, it's on Thomas. She came over the back.
As you watch Bree Moore, a decidedly hands-off approach here in the first few minutes, and I wonder if this is a nod toward against such a good team. We're not going to win without the other players, so one way or another, we've got to get them involved right from the outset.
Right, and she talked about that, right, with us, how she likes to get other people involved. But you're right. San Jacinto's defense is
more
solid.
Yeah. Great finish for Bree Moore.
Moore might have hurt us because she said, forget all that. I got this. That's a foul on Moore. Is that a foul on Johnson?
I think that's a good call on Johnson. I
agree.
think it's Moore who got hit as she jumped that passing lane. Maybe we could see I don't think we have the replay available right now, but
Moore had the inside position.
Yep.
They're going to award her a couple of free throws here as Mount San Jacinto now in the penalty. 5:55 to go. Both teams in foul trouble.
Carla Johnson now with 2 fouls.
Yeah.
Moore can be so disruptive, averaging 6.6 steals a game.
Yeah. Talked about the steal numbers for Trinity Washington.
Yeah.
Bree Moore right there with her, and she had, I believe it was six steals on Thursday for Bree Moore.
Yeah, I believe it was 27, 9, and 5 rebounds and assists to go with 6 steals.
Yeah, I told her I had her.
I
told her I had her in fantasy for the CCCAA championship.
You won the one-day fantasy league that we had going. The 4 games on Thursday. No, Ferry got the first pick. And it looks like they're changing the call here. You're going to call this a.
What did they call?
Well, it should be the 15 foul. I thought it should have been free throws either way, but they're not going to give Bree Moore the free throws.
I don't know exactly. I mean, was it an intentional foul that they called? Because it's 2 free throws in the ball. Shot up from the perimeter. That's no good. Rebounded by DeLacy Brown here. And here we come for Mount San Jacinto. Moreau from 3. That one off the back iron. Gower on the weak side with the putback. No. Gets her own rebound. Tapped out to Moreau. Madeline on the dribble. Has to pick it up. Good pressure on the ball by the Wolverines. That's Marinan inside. Thomas can't finish with the left. The theme continues for Brittany. Moore off to the races here. She has Richardson. No, she's going to take it herself. She'll finish with the left hand. No, it's rebounded by Thomas.
Nice outlet.
Good outlet. DeLacy Brown back the other way. Layup up. No good. Both teams struggling point blank here early on.
Guys, we had the first matchup between Moore and Thomas directly on the drive, and round 1 went to Thomas as she was able to change that shot.
Outside, Avila has to bring it out. Daisy Wilson. Back to Moore, high arcing 3-pointer. That one's short. Thomas tracks it down off to Brown. DeLacy turns on the Jets a little bit. Goes to the bucket. Bank shot up, no good, but she's fouled. And just such a tough player to guard. DeLacy Brown, she really puts you on your heels defensively.
It's a great attack.
That's a big foul, too. It's the 2nd foul on Taylor Avila. And again, she does a lot of the little things for this team. She hit the deck about 6 or 7 times in that second half as Sierra pulled away. Just one of those players that's so very critical for cohesion.
I think it's really important for both teams to figure out, like, how's the game being called? Are we going to be able to, body up a little bit or not? And once you figure that out, you have to play from there.
Well, Sierra, not exactly lights out from the field right now. 1 of 9, they're shooting 11%. Mount San Jacinto, not that much better. 2 of 11, the difference is at the free throw line. 6 of 7 for Sierra. Second free throw, no good for DeLacy Brown. So the score 8-6. Sierra on top of the Eagles. Moore going to bring it up. Working on Roseman Lulu. Janiza. Pretty good on-ball defense so far. She makes Moore fall down, pick up her dribble, crossover dribble to her left, right-handed shot up and good.
Yeah, through a double team. That is big time for Bree Moore.
And expect Moore to go to the basket more with Thomas out of the ball game right now. Walton down low defensively, and that's going to be 2 shots coming here for DeLacy Brown, really putting on the pressure. She's taken over the focal point offensively for the Eagles.
DeLacy is just attacking the basket.
And I got to tell you, Marcia, Hester comes over there to help there, but I don't really like her picking up that foul. I think it's going to be important that she matches up with Brittany Thomas, and I think you come over there and you make that challenge, but you drop the arms and you end up sending her to the line, maybe make her hit a tough shot.
Agreed. Just go over there and stand straight up. I think Coach Mursh was pretty upset with her fouling on that play. I think, too, DeLacy's going in so hard. It's going to take such nice touch to finish that. Go ahead and make her make a tough shot.
Well, she's struggling with her touch, whether it be field goals or free throw line. This is going to be a foul. I think this is going to go against Marissa Williams.
Yeah, Williams trying to challenge for the offensive rebound. Good job by AC Willis.
2 shots now for AC on the other end.
Definitely contrasting styles from the first game we had.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is like a heavyweight fight. You know?
Yeah, we had some welterweights early on. I got some heavyweights.
So
Teams
say what you will
bigger.
about Merced as a welterweight. They showed some Tommy Hearns power.
They really did.
They sure did.
In that first game.
Built small, they hit big. Free throws up and good. For AC Willis, 12-6. Sierra has lapped the Eagles here in quarter number 1. 4 minutes to go. Lacey Brown. Hands off, Roseman Lulu. They're looking inside for Walton. Walton late to get there, nearly turned it over. Tapped around, there's a scrum for it. Williams comes away with it. There's going to be a foul called, and this is going to be the second on Peyton Garvey.
That's a tough call on Garvey. I thought she did a pretty good job tying up there. I thought that was going to be a jump ball, but they catch Garvey for the foul.
Oh, guys, I thought Garvey picked one up earlier. They only list her with 1 foul.
I think I said that, and I think I had it wrong, obviously. Yeah, they're listing it on the scoreboard as her first foul, so that's a break for Sierra, certainly.
Absolutely. And Leah Richardson going to check back in. She'll come on for Hester. More Leah Richardson. Moore comes out of the scrum with the ball. Working to the baseline. Thomas comes over to help, and Richardson can't handle it cleanly. DeLacy Brown, the first on the floor to get it. Tries to give it back, and she threw it out of bounds. Who did he go off of last?
That was a great dish.
It's going to White.
That was a great feeding Leah Richardson. Marcia, I think you and I both saw that.
Missed opportunity.
There's a good story about Michael Jordan related to passing to the bigger players.
You talking about Stacey King?
No.
Oh, Cartwright.
Yeah, the Bill Cartwright story. Maybe if we get a minute, I'll recount that story.
Another scrum for the ball. Physical down there, and the refs are letting them play. Good flow to this ball game early on. 3:18 to go. 12-7. Sierra with a 5-point lead. They enter into Thomas. That pass stolen away by Moore. Moore now off to the races. She's going to attack the basket all the way to the bucket. Can't finish, but she's fouled Madeline Moreau, and that is for sure her second.
So it seems as if Sierra is dedicated more to coming on the double team. And she's not coming to double team and stand straight up. She's coming to make a play on the ball and make a play on the ball early.
Well, one of the things you hear about double teaming that I think is so important, and Moore just gave a great example of it, is you double team decisively. You either double team hard or you don't come on the double team. You can't sort of come in the middle on that. That's where you get into trouble. And Moore, I think, just did a great job of that. She got there about the same time as the ball. That makes it so tough on Brittany Thomas.
Right.
It's funny how hesitation, when it's premeditated, it's effective, but when it's not, it really costs you in every aspect, whether it be shooting the basketball, it be defensively coming over on a double, not knowing your assignment or what to be. Just that slight hesitation can really hurt you, and we see that right there in that last possession. Thomas, great catch of that ball. Gower in the corner. It's a three. It's off the mark. Thomas tracking down the board, working against Moore, and winning the battle. It's Sierra. Jamison comes away with it. It's going to be a foul. 2 shots coming to Jamison. Don't know if I agree with the call.
Wow.
A lot of people don't. Let's see the replay here.
If we can get
Replay not available. It's all right.
Well, I think what you're talking about, Michael, and I think what we're all in agreement here is I think Jamison was a little out of control to begin with. She didn't really have her footing. And when she went down there, I don't think it was purely from the contact. And I think that's where Sierra maybe gets a break on that call.
Roseman Lulu, I think, had a case. I mean, there was close contact, but I don't know if she actually made contact. 14-7. Thomas brings it down and gives it right away to DeLacy. She didn't do that a couple times versus the Sequoias. Back to DeLacy Brown from 3. That shot is short. Rebound fought for and 1 tapped out of bounds by the Eagles. Going back to Sierra. Willis took a fall.
She was hit pretty hard going for the defensive rebound on that play.
You know, that was another good feed from Brittany Thomas out of a double team. But if Mount San Jacinto, if the guards aren't knocking down threes, it's going to be a pretty easy game defensively for Sierra. They're happy to take their chances.
Really love the inside-out movement, though, on that last possession offensively for the Eagles. Those shots will fall. Jamison turns the corner, working against Williams. Jamison, great feed inside to AC, but right there is Thomas, such a hard player to go against. Thomas, really a factor down low, has a block. Going up with it, jump ball, travel. Now it's going back the other way. The Eagles with it, and what a menace defensively Brittany Thomas has been thus far for Mount San Jacinto.
Yeah, that was a block with emphasis on Daisy Wilson.
The Lacey's going to slow things up. You know, it's interesting here because I don't think any team has really taken a hold of this one, but you look at the scoreboard and Mount San Jacinto was just down by 7, make it by 5, 14-9. The layup is good for Brittany Thomas on a big-time move. Willis from 3, that's off the mark. Gower tracks it down. Numbers for the Eagles. We'll slow it up, though. Good transition defense from Sierra. They're looking inside. Thomas on the doorstep. That's a foul.
Yeah.
Richardson on the elbow. Number 2 on Leah.
At that point, when you're stuck behind, just go ahead and keep your hands straight up. You're not going to block her shot there.
It's so hard, Coach, especially when you're a player that's used to being able to block shots. And, you know, both players, as we talked about, you know, similar wingspans. In fact, Richardson maybe with the longer wingspan, but so hard to
Guys, I want to talk about
block Brittany Thomas's shot. Sorry, Story.
A little adjustment that I saw from Brittany Thomas that really speaks to her maturity as a basketball player. She hadn't had a couple of touches. She moves to the high post, creates a little room, a little different angle, puts the ball on the floor and scores, and then frees herself up again. And that's something we talked about in the previous game between Sierra and IVC, where Casey Smith, we wanted to see that adjustment from her. She was trying to get the ball, couldn't work herself free. But Thomas worked herself free to get a good touch and ultimately a hoop.
Yeah. 1:38 to go. We're still in the opening corner, 14-9. Second free throw up and good for Brittany Thomas. Thomas now with 5. Willis over on the far side. Marinan driving the baseline. That one barely hit the backboard. It's off to Jamison. Jamison from 15 buried it.
It's an easy shot for Jamison, a quick jump stop like that, kind of in close.
That's being ready right there, and that pass, a little bit too much on it, too high, even for the likes of Brittany Thomas, and we're going back the other way for the Wolverines.
You saw her, she began her post up when the ball was at half court, and she talked to us about that. Like, she's going to start working as soon as she can.
Marinan down low. This is Richardson. Can't handle it cleanly. It's off to Gower. Eagles now have it. Both teams a combined 6 of 30 from the floor. Sierra down low. Oh, great find. Roseman Lulu puts it up. Thomas on a rebound, takes a big fall. She's undercut, and a couple free throws coming her way, and Moore picks up a foul.
Just the first on Bree Moore.
And that foul initiated by the activity of Thomas on the offensive boards.
Yes. She's affecting the game on both ends. The last possession for Sierra, because of the fear of Brittany Thomas blocking the shot, they didn't even catch the ball.
40 seconds to go, and Thomas, 6 of 7, I believe, from the free throw line the other night, and that one looked pretty. Got a lot of game, Marcia. You talked about her basketball pedigree. Her mom coached her up in high school, and obviously a great foundation of a skill set to work with.
Great. She's very advanced for her second year in community college.
Going to Cal Baptist, if
Correct.
memory serves,
Correct.
along with the Lacey Brown, and
Yes.
that's a squad in their transition to D1 next season. That's going to surprise a couple people.
Yeah, Cal Baptist had a good recruiting season.
Yes, they did.
He's definitely.
(16-12). Thomas comes off. She'll get a bit of a break here at the end of the first quarter. Walton with a block, continuing the defensive trend set by Brittany Thomas. DeLacy Brown Bluffs at the drive, brings it back out. She's going to settle for the last shot here of the first quarter for Mount San Jacinto.
Good switch by Marin in there in a transition situation after Bree Moore was out of position going for a steal.
Double high post. DeLacy comes off. Roseman Lulu kicks it out. Wide open Octavia Williams from three.
Good basketball.
At the buzzer. Great set play at the end of the first quarter. Cuts the deficit to 2. They rule that a 2. 16-14 at the end of 1. You're watching the 2018 3C2A Basketball Championships. We're live from Ventura College. The lead cut to 1 at the end of the first quarter as Octavia Williams buried a triple out of a set play. Walton still in at center. They're getting Thomas as much of a breather as possible. DeLacy Brown off of a screen from Walton.
Very
and Mount
nice.
San Jacinto with the lead or ties it up at 16 all. Moore is fouled by Roseman Lulu coming into the lane.
You know what I find fascinating is on a play like that with a momentum really swinging toward Mount San Jacinto, you know that Bree Moore is going to drive hard to the basket. You know that's the play they go to. That's their bread and butter when they need a hoop, and you still have a hard time stopping it. That's what the kind of speed and power of Bree Moore is all about.
It speaks to her talent. She can still get a foul.
Gina Lockhart comes off. She is replaced by Daisy Wilson. Moore's going to bring in the basketball. Looking inside, has to bring it out to Peyton Garvey. Moore now with it, guarded by Janiza Roseman Lulu. Kicks it out to Willis. To the corner, back to Willis. Willis spins middle, great help
Nice
from
pass.
Walton, and an even better pass and cut on the baseline. Daisy Wilson with a finish. DeLacy Brown pulls up from 3. That's good, DeLacy Brown.
Well, we talked to Malik Smith after the Cerritos win
Travel.
last night.
Or offense. Mount San Jacinto's going to take it.
And Malik Smith talked about guarding very good opposing players, and he said that you work, you try to make them work to get as tough a shot as you can, and sometimes they'll hit shots and you got to pat them on the butt. And I think we just saw that right there, where with that shot by DeLacy Brown, and you just got to give a pat on the butt there and say good shot.
That's a nice shot. Yeah.
19-18, Mount San Jacinto with a lead.
It's some mounting foul trouble for Sierra.
Exactly right. DeLacy Brown in the lane, floater up off the backboard, no good. Tracking down her own rebound. There's a scrum for it. Garvey comes away with it. Check that. Taylor Avila now with the ball. Yep. Back to Moore.
You know, guys, Bree Moore with her second foul, and I think where that's really going to hurt them is how aggressively she can really afford to rebound, because she doesn't want to pick up that third foul maybe off the ball.
Moore from way downtown. That one way off. Rebounded by DeLacy Brown, and all of this with Brittany Thomas on the bench. Bodes well for the Eagles. Oh, Gower nearly got away with the travel there. She's in the lane. Left-handed layup, no good. Great defense from Willis. Walton goes up with it. She's fouled. And Walton falling back after contact alertly tries to put it up on the rim. She's going to have 2 free throws coming her way.
Yeah, Wilson had a hand on the ball, but I think on the follow-through as she tried to dig it out, that's what brings the whistle.
We've seen a lot of fouls called on like hustle plays. You know, it's a little too aggressive. But I like the hustle, though. I like the competitiveness.
You probably don't like the whistles as much.
No, no.
But that's okay. We won't name any names.
Nah.
Darlene Hargrove, Brenda Castillo, Melissa Cannon.
It's already the 14th free throw attempt coming in the game for Mount San Jacinto as a team.
Referees today, both free throws off the mark for Walton. Jamison from three, and back and forth we go. I think at this point, probably got to bring in Brittany Thomas.
She's so dangerous in transition. You have got to locate her.
Did you say 42% from three?
42%.
Yeah. And that's where she really looks for her shot, is in those transition opportunities. Finds a spot on the floor.
That's a good cut there by Walton. Walton has that one tapped away by Moore. Moore has to be careful working with the 2 fouls, but it ends up working out for her there. Moore slows it down, pulls up from the top of the key. That's good. 6-0 run courtesy of the long ball, and Sierra now with a 5-point lead. They trail by 1. And indeed, Thomas at the scorer's table. She's going to check in next dead ball.
Little 3-2 zone.
They change up the look here for Sierra, working with a bunch of foul trouble. They lose to Lacey Brown in the corner for 3. 4-point play opportunity for DeLacy Brown.
And Jamison there, I think, just takes a little bit of a poor angle.
Right.
Ends up making contact where I think she doesn't need to do that really to bother that shot.
No.
And I'll tell you what, as we get the advantage from the delay here of a little bit of a replay, not a bad job of DeLacy Brown in making sure that she hit the deck after a little bit of contact to try and bring about that call.
Yes.
Just a good, a good heady
sold
play.
It well.
Yes, she sold it.
Yep.
Well, the last thing you want to do, they went to the zone to kind of stay out of foul trouble, right? Give themselves a break. But they left the most dangerous shooter open at the 3-point line.
Brown on the season from 3, only shooting it about 32%, but she takes almost 6 a game, so she's not shy from the perimeter. She's been very effective thus far. Converts on the 4-point play. She has 13 points to lead all scorers. Moore crossing over on Manlulu. Manlulu stays with her. Willis into the lane, no good. Thomas back into the ball game, collects another rebound. Off to DeLacy. Now this will be a different look. With Thomas in the ball game along with Gower, Octavia Williams with the ball right now. DeLacy Brown and Rose Manlulu. Gower, Manlulu. Looking inside, they lose Williams in the corner. It's a long 2. That shot up is short. Thomas with a rebound. Put back, no. Gets her own miss. Puts it back up, no. Another chance opportunity, and Thomas is fouled on opportunity number 4. Padding the stat line right now is Brittany Thomas. She might have a double-double before the end of the half.
I understand how hard, how difficult it is to turn around and block someone out when you're right under the basket. But if they don't put a body on Brittany, it's going to be a long game.
3rd foul on Bree Moore. That'll likely do it for her here in the first half. And that's a huge storyline here in semifinal number 2.
Yeah, this next 6:33 is going to be huge for Sierra as a team. Got to find a way to hang around.
You have a lead right now that could change after a free throw here from Brittany Thomas. She missed her first. Taking a little extra time there. Shot is up, and it's short. She's thinking about it too much, Coach. Garvey, near travel there. Willis inside. Jamison on the baseline. That shot up and good.
Nice and easy.
That was Daisy Wilson. Rather.
Yeah, interesting that Chanel Jamison's not on the floor right now as the second leading scorer without Bree Moore out there.
Well, it's not on the floor with Moore or Jamison. They're able to extend on a 1-point lead. They now lead it by 3. Thomas loses it down low. Scrum for the basketball. Here's a jump ball coming. Arrow in favor of Sierra.
Boy, that is a great job from Marissa Williams on her back to still manage to tie that ball up.
Walton comes on here for Brittany Thomas. I'm surprised that Thomas is going to come off here.
Coach is unhappy about something with Thomas.
That's Chris Mozga. Having a conversation with Thomas before she sits down. Wolfson on the far side up to Garvey. Garvey. Marinan. Hester in the post. Kicks it out. Marinan from 3. That's good. Tyler Marinan.
It's going to be so important without Bremore on the floor that you move without the ball, and that was a good offensive set. A lot of movement without the ball, and it ends up with a good look.
You can weather the storm, and your best player, maybe the best player in the state, in Bremore on the bench here in the semifinals. You might have a chance and find yourself facing Merced on Sunday, but a lot to be done. 5:39 to go here in the second quarter. You're watching the 2018 CCCAA Basketball Championships. We're live from Ventura here on SoCal College Sports. Brown going to bring it up here. Mount San Jacinto down by 6. Brown has been the story here in the first half. Triple team down low on Brittany Thomas, and they still can't find anybody. Tavia Williams drives to the bucket. She's fouled going up. 15 foul, 2 shots coming.
Well, it's DeLacy Brown who ends up, I believe, in the corner there on the triple team, and I think that's a shot she needs to take.
Jeff, I think you're exactly right there. 5:13 to go, second quarter, and Coach, what are we looking at here? What does Mount San Jacinto need to do to have a firmer grasp on this game? Because I feel like thus far they've been the better team.
Right. Well, right now with this little 3-2 zone that Sierra's in, they're really trying to take away Thomas. But the baseline is open every time, so they just have to be patient and get the ball to the baseline. That's how DeLacy got the 3 with the and 1.
Yep. Willis up top thought about the 3, kicks it back out. Marinan, who just hit a 3, out to Garvey. Garvey over to Willis, looking for the corner. Hester in the middle. Really nothing there. Who's going to be that go-to player in this set? 5 on the shot clock. Garvey from 3. It's a long one. It's short. Good defense on that time by Mount San Jacinto. We talked about their defense so good versus College of the Sequoias on Thursday. DeLacy Brown into the lane. That's a tough shot with the runner. Full timeout going to be called here by Mount San Jacinto. The lead down to 3 for Sierra. We'll take a timeout on Cheryl's. Back in a moment. Jeff, that's a great question. Maybe we can allude to that conversation later. 4:25 to go. Little basketball combo off the air. We'll bring that to you shortly.
Yeah, there you see a traveling call, and I think that's as much an issue of spacing as anything. Avila's just a little too close to that pass. It's a little awkward. She ends up shuffling her feet, and Sierra turns it over.
Coach, you talked about exploiting the short corner, and Jeff, you asked me the question. I imagine that was probably your shot, and indeed it was. In practice, during my days when we used to go against the first team, I would leak out to the short corner, and I would probably bury that shot at about an 80 to 90% clip. And when it kept on happening, my coach in college would stop practice and make everybody run. And Jeff asked the question, would you have to run too? And the answer was yes.
That really doesn't seem fair.
No.
You did everything right.
4:10 remaining in the second quarter. Really nip and tuck here in the first half of semifinal number 2.
Well, when Bremore went out 2.5 minutes ago, it was a 1-point lead. Now it's 3. I think if you're Sierra, if they could go into the half and still up 1, they would absolutely take that.
Absolutely, and Thomas with a rebound off to DeLacy Brown, going too fast. Goes out of bounds. What's the old John Wooden saying? Be fast, but don't rush. Marinan on the dribble, working against Roseman Lulu. She's got a nice handle of the basketball off to Jamison. Jamison being guarded by DeLacy Brown. That shut up no good, and it is rebounded by DeLacy. She is tough to go up against.
Yeah, Jamison out there with 2 fouls. That is huge for Sierra. She's got to stay away from the third.
Octavia into the lane off the heel of the iron. Marinan quickly up ahead. This is Jamison working on Octavia now, keeping her dribble, kicks it out. Richardson. This is Lauren. Back to Marinan, wide open three-pointer. This is going to be a foul on Richardson. That's unfortunate. The ball hit nothing but the net, but that's the correct call as Lauren Richardson kept on moving on the screen.
Yeah, I think she's just trying to spin out of that screen,
well,
but does it a little too early, I think, and that's what draws that call.
That's by design, and a lot of coaches scout that and say, hey, look, if that's going to happen or if that's something that they go to a lot, they chirp in the referee's ear before the game, and if they see it during the game, they're more likely to call it. That's a good job there by the ref recognizing the play.
Moore back in the game now.
Yeah, Bremore out there with 3 fouls.
This is
calculated risk.
Danger zone here as Moore comes away with a steal. Worked out that time. Still got 2:55 to go. Moore, Euro step into the lane, working on Thomas, and Thomas affects that shot again. Lacey Brown now in transition, working against Jamison. A lot of contact, no call. Roseman Lulu with authority on the boards on the offensive glass wins another possession for the Eagles. Lacey Brown in the corner. They're looking for Thomas down low. Comes through.
Nice.
Hook shot good. Brittany Thomas.
Haven't seen a lot of that with Thomas given the kind of room to operate down low.
They've been taking away her left shoulder.
The double team didn't come that time.
Not quick enough anyway.
Well, Moore, who's been double teaming most of the time, went out to try to contest the 3.
Yeah, well, what happened there is that DeLacy Brown leaked to the corner, and alertly Moore comes out, but that leaves Thomas wide open down low, and you can't really come over with as much emphasis as you were earlier if you're more operating with the 3 fouls. Williams, shot fake, goes up with it. She's fouled going to the basket. Two shots coming her way, regardless of whether it's on the shot or on the floor, as Sierra's in the penalty.
Yeah, you do a little scouting here. It's Octavia Williams goes with a pump fake from 3-point range. On the season, she takes less than 1 3-pointer a game. She only hits it about 12%. And I think that's a situation where you'd like to see the defender stay on your feet and let her, if she's going to knock down that shot, then, give her all the credit in the world, but make her hit that shot.
And an opportunity to give the Eagles a lead. Now she can tie it up with a made free throw. She's off on the first. Hester back into the ball game along with Garvey and Avila, along with Willis and Moore. For the Eagle, DeLacy Brown, Marissa Williams, Octavia Williams, Walton, and Roseman Lulu. Made free throw, ties it up at 29 all. Avila with it on the far side, guarded by DeLacy Brown, and has to kick it back out. Here's Garvey. Walton trying to take a charge, alters the shot anyway. Numbers here for the Eagles. Lacey Brown going to kick it back to Roseman Lulu, who gives it off to Octavia Williams. Point blank, she lays it up and lays it in. Good basketball from the Eagles. Moore quickly back the other way to the rack. Foul underneath, going to be called on Walton, and Moore going to the line.
You, right now, if you're a Sierra fan watching this, your heart's in your throat. You got Bree Moore out there with 3 fouls, and she's driving hard to the rack. I think that's a good call there. That was a block, but boy, a 4th foul would be absolutely huge in this game.
Absolutely.
I love the effort there from Walton coming over, trying to take that charge, but she did move underneath. First free throw, in and out.
Well, I think what hurt her, too, on the previous play, she tried to take a charge and fell before she got there. So this time they're not going to give her the benefit of the doubt, but she wasn't there.
.128 in the second quarter. 1 of 2 on the free throws for Moore.
Okay.
Alertly, Moore is going to come out. Marinan going to replace her. And you have to weather the storm here at the end of the first half, Jeff. You always talk about it. This is danger time, especially with a team with their best player on the bench. So important to finish the half on a strong note. And I think if you can hold serve here, only down 1 at the end of the half, mission accomplished. For Sierra, Roseman Lulu to Lacey Brown again in the corner. You just can't give her that. It's an air ball, and it's an offensive ball. It's going to be a foul on Williams. Marissa.
Now, Avila there on the closeout and gave a little extra room to DeLacy Brown, who did a good job creating a 4-point play opportunity earlier on a similar shot. I think Avila erred on the side of caution. I'm getting nowhere close to her, not giving her a chance to maybe do that again.
We're live from Ventura College, home of the Pirates, home of the athletic director of the year in Will Cowan. Friend here of SoCalCollegeSports.com. Always a pleasure to work with Will and his crew. Right now it's Mount San Jacinto with a 1-point lead. Marinan, maybe a bit of a push out there on Roseman Lulu. No whistle there. Here's Garvey. Step back jumper is good on DeLacy Brown. That is a tough shot. She got a little game there, Coach.
Yes, she does. Not only is she an amazing young person, we talked about her yesterday with Be the Match.
That shot altered by Garvey as DeLacy Brown short-armed it.
You can play for the final shot if you want it.
Alyssa Walton with the steal in transition. Now the Eagles can play for the last shot. The final 10 seconds. And Lulu, DeLacy, 4 seconds. Bad pass out of bounds. This is off on the far side by Raina Lasley. It's going to be a missed opportunity here for Mount San Jacinto. Not only does Moore have 3 fouls going in at the half, but more importantly, Sierra with a 1-point lead.
That's exactly where they were when they picked up.
And they're going to take it. 32-31, the end of a couple quarters here in semifinal number 2. You are watching the 2018 3C2A Basketball Championships here from Ventura College. Halftime here from Ventura, semifinal number 2, Sierra on top of Mount San Jacinto. A hotly contested battle in that first half, and the matchup that we were watching was Bree Moore and Brittany Thomas. On the stat sheet, I think that the edge goes to Brittany Thomas, but Bree Moore, her team has a 1-point lead, and she has 3 fouls. I mean, how do you figure that?
You know what? They found a way to actually go up 6 when she went out of the game and then hold on to a 1-point lead. So that's a really, really good job. I mean, both teams have taken 30 shots. It's a heavyweight battle out here.
Yeah, I think key stat that we were talking about a little bit off camera from the free throw line, Mount San Jacinto, 9 of 21 as a team in that first half in the game that they're down 1 point. I don't think it's a great leap to say that this one might come down to the final minute before it's all said and done. So those types of opportunities are so very critical as well.
Absolutely. We're going to see how Sierra comes out with the double team against Thomas. If they continue to do that, that freed up DeLacy for open 3-point shots. If DeLacy can start to knock down more, she's 2 for 5 right now. She takes the most threes on the team, shooting 32%, I believe. She starts knocking them down. That could really open up the game.
Yeah, Brittany Thomas with 9 points, DeLacy Brown with 15 points to lead all scores. Last game for Mount San Jacinto, DeLacy Brown was in foul trouble in the first half, but she came back in the second half to help close the show. Bree Moore is going to have a similar performance if her team's going to move on. And in that first half, she has 11 points in limited minutes. She needs to be better than she was, and she was pretty effective. Coach, how do you do it?
Well, hopefully her threes start to drop. She was 1 for 5 from the 3-point line. She's got to continue to be aggressive, continue to get to the basket. The way you challenge a shot blocker is to go right into their body. She's got to be able to do that without picking up a foul, but she's got to continue to be aggressive. DeLacy Brown, on the other hand, I think the speed at which she allows Mount San Jacinto to run, they can get easy buckets in transition. So again, it's whoever does whatever they do better.
Yeah. DeLacy, go ahead, John.
I was going to say that it really highlights, because I think some adjustments are going to have to be made, and it highlights who I think 2 central characters in this second half are going to be, and that's Chris Mauska and Brandy Murish on the sidelines. And this one's likely to come down to the stretch, and which coaching staff can make those adjustments, figure out what's going to work. This is where they earn their money. This is big time, and we'll see in the next 20 minutes which sideline is able to make those adjustments and ultimately put their team in the best position to win.
Yeah, DeLacy Brown, she's missed her last 3 shot attempts, and unfortunately, they were poor shot attempts. And I thought the shot attempts that Bree Moore threw up, she 1 of 5 from 3. Thought 4 of those were not very good shots. I think she's not letting the game come to her. Hopefully, she's able to right that ship and change the script in the second half. We're going to find out in a couple minutes here. Mount San Jacinto and Sierra, semifinal number 2, second half coming up. Second half about to get underway. SoCalCollegeSports.com. Remember, everybody, you can watch the broadcast live on our website, www.SoCalCollegeSports.com. Also on our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. Feel free to subscribe.
Well, you alluded to it at the tail end of the first half. and it bears repeating here at the start of the second half, the final couple minutes of the first half, first few minutes of the second half, the most challenging parts of games to really maintain focus as players. So very critical here to come out of the locker room ready to play right at the start of the second half.
Foul trouble, a huge factor for Sierra right now. DeLacy Brown, wide open three, inside out game. That's good. And right off the bat, the Eagles now with a 2-point lead after another made three by DeLacy Brown. She has 18.
That's a result of the double team.
Willis from three to answer on the other end. No. Avila with a rebound, operating with 2 fouls. If at first you don't succeed, try again, but Willis can't get the second one to go. It's tapped out of bounds by Avila, going back to the Eagles.
I see Avila doing exactly the same thing today that she did on Thursday, coming out of the locker room to start the second half, really coming out determined to push the intensity and pace with physical play.
Bit of a zone look here, a 3-2. DeLacy Brown looking inside to have Thomas. Moore nearly picked up a foul there, reaching in. She pokes it away. Ball don't lie. The whistle likely should have been called on the other end. She's got to be careful.
Definitely.
Coach Brandy Murish is talking to her, saying, you can't do that. We need you out there.
She's got to be smart. The last thing Sierra can afford is for Moore to pick up a 4th foul.
And that would have been a cheap foul, not a good one.
Right.
Any foul she picks up the rest of the way, likely not very good. Johnson with it at the top of the key. That's a great fine cross-court. DeLacy again from the corner.
Well, that's 3 that she's hit from the corner, and I think if you're Sierra as a team, you got to be aware of that. Start to adjust to that spot.
Outside, this is Avila to answer another 3 ball. More inside, shot up is good.
Nice
in
shot.
traffic. That is a tough move there. Looked like DeLacy Brown maybe have got a hand on it down low, but Moore finishes up top. 37-34. 3-point lead for the Eagles on top of the Wolverines. Moreau with it on the far side from 3. That one is long. Great
Nice
rebound by Willis AC, boxing out on Gower. Back and forth we go. Got a good one here in semifinal number 2. Merced on to championship Sunday. We'll play the winner of this one. Johnson gets her hand on it. Gets it off to Gower. Gower 2-on-2 with DeLacy near side. DeLacy closed out on by Moore. Johnson from 3. That's off the mark. Willis with another rebound. She's hit upside the face. I think she was hit by Hester, her own player. Moore off to Avila from 3. It's short. Moore steps back to Avila in the corner. Let's try it again. No. And that's a foul that's going to be called on Peyton Garvey, I believe. And it is.
Yeah, they caught her on the push-off.
Yeah. Coach, early on, Mount San Jacinto getting the better of it.
Yes, well, the double team on Thomas is freeing up the corner shot. And DeLacy Brown is taking advantage of it.
Yep.
Coach, you mentioned something after the conversation we had at halftime about maybe a fatigue factor for DeLacy Brown. Didn't play a lot in the quarterfinals in the win, but DeLacy, with foul trouble in that game, has played very well today, but she looked a little tired, especially in the last few shot attempts before the end of the first half.
She has a lot to do. She handles the ball. She pushes the pace. She defends. You know, she's one of those athletes that looks like they can just go on forever.
Yeah.
But, she looked a little fatigued at the end of the first half.
Third triple of the second half. Indeed, she has the hat trick here in the third quarter. It's 40-34.
You know, guys, really the difference so far in the second half is nothing more than shooting. 3 of 4 from three-point range for Mount San Jacinto, 0 of 4 from three-point range for Sierra.
It's the DeLacy Brown show here in the third quarter for Mount San Jacinto. 23 points on the day. Timeout on the floor, 6:44 to go in the third quarter. A three-point shooting barrage from DeLacy Brown here in the third quarter. Now I
think they called one a long two.
One is a long two. You're exactly right here, Story. So it's 39-34. It's a 5-point lead for Mount San Jacinto.
I look for Bree Moore to make something happen here going to the basket.
Moore to the rack, blocked by Walton, but she's fouled. Good response out of the timeout here by Bree Moore and the Wolverines. All of this, Brittany Thomas on the bench.
Right. Well, Brittany Thomas is putting in work inside. She's posting hard. That hasn't stopped. It's how Sierra is playing her, but that's also why the outside shot has been freed for DeLacy Brown.
One of the three-pointers that came for DeLacy Brown was on an inside-out look from Thomas.
Right.
And as we saw yesterday, or on Thursday rather, in the win for Fresno City in their game, a game where they fell behind early, it was the outside shooting that really opened up the inside attack for them. Moore with a steal.
That's great anticipation by Bree Moore.
Moore up ahead. Avila driving the lane, puts it up. That shot is blocked by Marissa Williams out of bounds. It's going to stay here. Lead is 4 for the Eagles. Jamison driving the lane, puts it up on the glass, no good, but she's fouled by Williams.
Well, this is a player, if you're a Sierra fan, you'd love to see really get going here in the second half. Chanel Jamison, she can fill it up. And with Moore somewhat hampered by foul trouble, this is an even bigger situation for Jamison.
Thomas will come back into the ball game along with Octavia Williams. Walton off along with Marissa Williams. San Diego City and Fresno City due up next, the men's bracket. 2 free throws good. That pass nearly gets away from DeLacy Brown. Johnson able to maintain her pivot foot. That's a great job by her. That get called for travel. DeLacy Brown working on Avila, gets a bump in the lane, no whistle. Thomas tracks down a rebound, back to DeLacy Brown, back to Thomas inside. Hot pass over to Madeline Moreau. That's a tough one to deal with.
Great
Thomas to the bucket, steps through and scores.
That's a big time assist on the catch by Moreau to keep that possession alive.
Moore to the bucket. That's a block on Thomas.
Taking it right into the body of a shot blocker.
And just as you talked about.
But y'all, Brittany Thomas is doing such a good job. She's not getting the touches she's used to getting, and she's having to work and create different opportunities for herself.
Second foul on Brittany. And no one has been able to seize control in this one. Free throw up and good by Moore.
I think it's the kind of game we expected with, again, the 60-3 combined record from both of these teams.
Very evenly matched indeed.
Right.
Great players on both sides. That one in and out. DeLacy Brown had Roseman Lulu up the floor. She likes to keep it. Hands off to Carla Johnson. Johnson from the elbow. That shot off the mark. Thomas tracking down the rebound. Tapped out of bounds by Thomas. Wow. Moore comes from the backside. No whistle called as she made contact with Thomas. And remember that moment.
Yeah, and that's very similar to what you described a couple of minutes ago, where Moore's in the wrong place there. You know, it's just a little bit of contact, and you don't want to pick up a ticky-tack fourth foul like that.
Moore from 3. It's off the mark. Thomas rebounds the basketball with authority.
That's a great box
in
out.
traffic over Richardson. DeLacy Brown into the corner. Here's Octavia, has that one poked away. Johnson's going to slow things down, reset the offense, and the Eagles up by 3. Brown gets a screen from Thomas. Thomas rolling to the bucket, guarded by Richardson. She's fouled. Hopefully it's on Richardson underneath.
It should be with Richardson with a push there in the back.
Indeed, it's on number 33, not number 3. Baseline out of bounds. Second team foul now on Sierra. Here in the third quarter, 5:02 to go.
I think Moore knows how to play one way for Sierra. Right? She anticipates. She takes risks. But she's got to be smart.
Give it to her. Good repost by Thomas.
Oh.
Moore gets away with another reach-in. She has a steal. Back the other way she goes. And she initiates a foul call on the other end. Coach, that's 2 reach-ins. One of them didn't get called. And sometimes it's helpful to be one of the best players in the state. That's one of them where Jordan would have been called for.
Well, I got to tell you, if I can just interject one thing, Doug Collins used to always say that if the ball went down on a reach-in, you knew it was clean. If the ball went up, that was a sign it was a foul. And I think that ball went up.
It did. It did.
Free throw up and good. I'm not trying to allude that star players get preferential treatment here in the 3C2A. I'm just making a historical reference. John Sally used to say when you're playing the Bulls in the 90s, you're playing 5 on 9. And 4 of the other players are wearing stripes.
And John Sally is just upset about 1991.
That's a fact. That one off the back iron. It's going to be a lane violation going back the other way. That's going to go against Lauren Richardson.
Well, Moore now is 3 of 6 from the line in the second half. We talked about the struggles for Mount San Jacinto as a team in that first half, and some missed opportunities perhaps for Sierra to get fully all the way back in the lead here in the third quarter.
And Moore's going to come off here. She looks a little fatigued. At the same time, I think Coach Brandy Murish realizing that her player, maybe a little gamble there, that didn't get called. Thomas down low. That's great bullying in the low post for the score by Brittany Thomas.
That was a nice, strong post move.
See if Sierra can answer here. They're down by 4. Avila kicks it out. It's going to be a backcourt violation on Sierra.
Yeah, and it looked like Marinan and Jamison, they're not entirely sure, but they end up right next to each other, and it's hard to imagine that's by design.
Yeah, the spacing off, and obviously Sierra, a team that loses its identity offensively with more off of the floor.
Yeah, that's one of the shortest rests on the bench ever for Bree Moore. She's right back into the game.
She probably spent more energy getting up and off of the bench than she did if she would have just been on the floor the entire time. Eagles up by 4, looking to add to it. Thomas with it on the perimeter. Great spin move. That's a left-handed shot that goes up. She gets her own rebound. Contact there. Gower with the rebound. We're going to have a jump ball called. Arrow in favor of the Wolverines, and back the other way we go with White.
Nice move by Thomas. Everything but the finish.
Left hand.
Yeah.
One thing she has to work on at the next level. She's so good in every other aspect. Moore with the crossover. Thomas lets her go, and alertly so. She's operating with 2 fouls. She picks up her third that puts her in a precarious position on the foul board. 43-41. Thomas sealing on Richardson inside. Here comes the double team. She finds Moreau near side inside to Gower. Gower can't handle the pass. And the Wolverines create another turnover.
Thomas is telling her to shoot it. You know, that was a great pass.
That was a great pass.
Out. Yeah.
Great pass in the shooter's pocket. You need to be able to bury that ball.
You have to shoot it.
And guess what? If you miss it, I got you.
Right.
Too close to call right now. 3:30 to go in the third. 43-41. Willis from 3. Off right, Thomas another board. Off to Moreau. Thomas might end with 20 boards in this one, Coach.
Yeah,
I think she had 14 at the break, did she not?
She might have 20 at the end of 3. That's what I meant to say. Johnson inside. Thomas has it poked away by Moore. Moore, there's a scrum for it. Octavia Williams comes away with it. Here's Thomas working against the double team. There's another jump ball on the floor. Arrow now in favor of the Eagles. Moore on the floor.
And Bree Moore is just all over the place defensively, playing with 3 fouls. And amazing that she is able to reach in and dig so many balls out and not pick up that 4th foul.
You know her coach. Coach Murs is hoping she gets to the 4th quarter with just those 3 fouls.
Yep. Thomas Gets a screen from DeLacy. DeLacy coming off of a screen from Gower. Gower at the high post, looking inside, has it poked away momentarily by Moore. Gets it back, she's at the high post, 1 on the shot clock. DeLacy Brown at the buzzer, that one hits no rim, and it's a good defensive possession here for the Wolverines. I think everybody lost track of the shot clock. I know I did, and I'm not even playing. I got a better look.
You know, there's a philosophy. If you're going to play a certain way, like you're going to play aggressive, go ahead and play that way. They can't call everything, and that's kind of Moore. Moore's going to take risks. You know she's going to foul sometimes, and they're not going to call it every time.
That shot up by Marinan off the mark. Johnson flies in for the rebound. 18 rebounds on the game for Brittany Thomas. Wow.
You know, I'd like to see Moore make a little adjustment here and look more to finish at the rim. It looks like Mount San Jacinto is really closing out on the three-point shots.
DeLacy with a hesitation dribble gets into the lane. There's a scrum for it. Another jump ball, and I think we're going back the other way.
Sierra is really struggling, from the three-point line. I mean, they were 3 for 14 at the half.
I don't think they've hit one here in the second half, and they've taken probably a good 7 or 8 more. But I think some of that, as we were talking about, is the decision by the Eagles, I think, defensively to really challenge those shots. I don't think they're giving them those shots and taking their chances.
2:11 remaining. Sierra with the ball. They trail it by 2. Marinan up top with it. Marinan, Moore, Willis, Jamison, and Daisy Wilson. Moore into the lane, kicks out to Wilson. Wilson, 12-footer up off the back iron. Moore had it momentarily, kicks off to Marinan. Marinan finds a cutting Wilson. That one off the mark. Off of the shoulder of Wilson. DeLacy Brown back the other way. She's fouled by Jamison.
Well, I think, Marcia, that gets back to something that you were talking about before. That's a great little play by DeLacy Brown. She really went right for the chest of Jamison and really helps bring about that call. I think Jamison's trying to back off there.
Right.
She's trying to stay out of the foul, but Brown does a great job of kind of creating that contact and really forcing the call.
She does. And I think she shows contact as well. She's going hard, but she shows that she gets, the touch. That's a good job by DeLacy.
First free throw up and good by DeLacy Brown.
24 points now for DeLacy Brown.
Having herself a night. Love it when I'm right. Talked about it before the game. She wasn't able to really put her stamp on the quarterfinal game.
She was your pick to click, I think.
Getting some extra gold stars next to my name on the program. I don't think we're in the program. (45-41) after a couple of main free throws by DeLacy Brown. She has a quarter century on the board. Wilson from the corner. That one gets a friendly roll on an unfriendly rim. And the lead back to 2 for the Eagles.
And those are the shots that Sierra's going to have to knock down here if they want to try and close this one out here with a little over 1 quarter to go.
Moreau kicks back. This is Johnson. Johnson driving the lane. That's a great recognition of Johnson, knowing where the defender is in Avila, and that's a bad angle by Avila to take. She lays it up and lays it in. Moore loses it in the lane. Johnson all over it. Under a minute to go here in the third. Moreau off of a screen from Gower. Here comes Johnson off of a screen from Gower. Moore inside, pokes it away. Thomas on the doorstep. Easy money.
You cannot gamble on the block. Cannot gamble defensively.
Very tough assignment for Daisy Wilson, giving away a lot of height.
Three-pointer by Moore. We were hoping that those would start falling for, and instead they don't. It's out of bounds, back to the Eagles. 6-point lead, and they can hold for the final possession here in the third.
Sierra's largest lead was 7 points. They've crept out to a 6-point lead here. I think this is a very big possession for both teams here. If Mount San Jacinto can find a way to knock down another shot here, go into the fourth quarter with their largest lead of the game, that's going to be a lot of momentum.
I agree with you. Sierra needs to stop here.
15 seconds. Moreau with the basketball. Lacey Brown in the corner. No, they go to Thomas down low. Off the backboard, no. Gower crashing. Tapped out of bounds by her with 3 seconds left.
Whoa, that was a pretty good look.
It sure was.
You'll take that set every day of the week. It's good misdirection there by keeping Brown in the corner. Marinan can't get a shot off, and we go into the fourth. Mount San Jacinto up by 6. They can smell Sunday here in the semifinals. Back in a moment. And we head into the fourth quarter. 49-43, Mount San Jacinto with a 6-point lead. We're live from Ventura College. A great set play again. That one worked in the first half. Moore has that one tapped out of bounds after she gets the block. Got to be careful there. Nearly picked up her fourth.
Yeah, she made it to the fourth quarter still with just the 3 fouls, but almost picked up number 4 right away. Would have put her right back in a bad spot, but another tremendously athletic play to make that block there and not pick up the foul.
Ventura College, home of Will Cowan, Athletic Director of the Year. And congrats to Will. He's our color man last year for the championships.
Yeah. Will rates his own graphic.
He does. Gower goes up with it on the follow. Thomas has that blocked cleanly by Moore.
Well, let's see if that defense maybe picks up Sierra a little bit offensively where they've had a struggle.
9:32 to go, early fourth quarter. And Sierra trailing by 6. Jamison lost it. Working against Carla Johnson. Great on-ball defense from Carla. 10 on the shot clock. Moore working on Madeline Moreau. Here comes Thomas. Richardson down low, lays it up and lays it in. And that's a big being ready with her hands.
It is. Big finish.
2 points for Richardson in the game, and there may be no bigger 2 points for Sierra as a team than those two.
That's how you start the fourth off right there. Double high screen. Moreau goes left off of Gower. That one tapped out of bounds off of Johnson. Back to the Wolverines we go.
Bree Moore's defense in the last minute or so has been huge and might have started to shift this momentum just slightly towards Sierra.
She's been everywhere.
She's tenacious. Moore off of her own double high screen. Jamison from 3. That's good.
That's the shot you want.
Chanel Jamison.
They needed a 3 to go down.
And they get one. They cut it to 1. 49-48, and down the stretch we come. Thomas has it stolen by Moore. Avila up ahead to Jamison. Stutter move, up and in. Sierra with the lead.
And you see the bench now up for Sierra. They're into it now on a 7-0 run.
50-49. Thomas down low. Here comes Moore. She steps through it. She's fouled, and might that be number 4? Probably going to go against Richardson.
I think it's Richardson on the push, but
Indeed.
See what the call is. That's number 4 on Richardson.
We get a clap from Moore as she walks away from it.
Well, I think it's the right call, too.
Yeah.
Well, she sure got her. Moore got her when she came around.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? This team needs Bree Moore to be aggressive, to take risks. They're used to that, and she's continuing to do that.
And Brittany Thomas down low, when she gets it, she has to know that that double is coming and make a quicker decision. DeLacy Brown inside, no, it's Thomas, and one, no, she's fouled down low, and you have to finish that basket if you're Brittany Thomas.
Talk about doing it all. That's all set up by a great screen by DeLacy Brown that manages to free up Brittany Thomas.
It's amazing what happens when you set a good screen.
Sierra's been back in man-to-man defense, and that's kind of changed DeLacy Brown getting open looks.
Tied up at 50-all. Thomas now with 16 on the night.
69% foul shooter.
6 of 7 from the stripe. Her last time out. Decidedly different today.
Yeah, buying herself a little time at the free throw line.
She's 4 of 7 today. It's a big one right here. Big ones the rest of the way. Second free throw gets a friendly roll, 51-50. Now San Jacinto back with the lead. Moore brings it up. Working on Octavia Williams. Back to Wilson. Daisy hands off to Moore. Bree Moore off a high screen. Hesitation dribble inside. That's a great find to Hester, and Hester puts it up and in. Really love the activity from these bigs right now. For Sierra, Richardson and Hester with their hands ready and receiving passes well, and that's a great move by Thomas around Hester, and she scores. Timeout, Mount San Jacinto. Back with a lead by 1 at 53-52.
Marsha, I want to ask a quick question there, just real quick before we go. I thought it was interesting there about communication on a double team. I see Moore starting to come over, but then they leave the baseline open. And Hester, I think, there needs to kind of cheat her toward the help, but instead they give her the lane to the baseline.
That's the first time they've made that mistake all game. So, yeah, definitely a miscommunication there.
Yeah, if you're Hester, you have to take away that base because you know the help's coming from the middle.
Right.
And let's credit Thomas, too. I think she knew she was going there. I think she found maybe a window of opportunity. She gets her left leg outside of the defenders and then spins that direction and goes and scores the layup.
Brittany's done a nice job all game of posting up, and the inside out has worked for him. She's gotten a few buckets. It's something that Sierra's had to pay attention to the entire game. I mean, the whole strategy has been about how do we limit Brittany Thomas.
And I think that one other thing that I think in this sort of marquee matchup between two of the very best players in the 3C2A, one of the highlights here has been the very unselfish play, and we just saw it there from Bree Moore with a terrific couple of feeds finding Richardson and Hester, but also Brittany Thomas has flashed very good passing skills out of double teams, consistently freeing up open shots, and that's a credit to both players and both coaches, I think both programs.
Absolutely.
5 assists for Bree Moore, and Brittany Thomas only credited with 1 assist. I think that stat is incorrect. Jamison from 3, off the front iron. Thomas another rebound. I believe that's number 19 on the night. 19 and 19 on the board for Brittany Thomas here in the semifinals of the 3C2A. That's a foul on the low side by Daisy Wilson. It's 3rd team foul on Sierra.
Well, that's Wilson coming over, though, with a good hard double team. I think he can live with that foul.
Octavia Williams looking to enter it in. She has Moreau, and that nearly stolen. It's a foul on Moore. That's number 4. And a lot of time left in this one. It's 7:17 to go.
You know what I find interesting about that call is I think she had a couple of plays that maybe even more easily could have been called fouls than that one. That actually looked like pretty good anticipation as she dug that ball out, but either way, draws the 4th foul.
Right. I'm sure the officials have been hearing it from the sideline, like she's getting away with things.
Yeah.
You got to go right to Thomas down low and see if you can bring Moore over and go right into her. Moreau working on Moore. She lets her go right past her. Rebounded by Octavia Williams. Moore with the steal. It's tapped by Brittany Thomas. There's a scrum for it. The arrow in favor of the Wolverines, and Sierra will have possession.
It's the first knockdown of Avila here in the second half. It's for Sierra College as she hits the deck to dig that one out.
Comes up smarting a little bit. She's okay. Jamison, Wilson, Moore, Willis, Avila on the floor right now for Sierra. Octavia Williams, Madeline Moreau, Gower, DeLacy Brown, Brittany Thomas out there for the Eagles. Jamison on the dribble. Inside handoff to Willis. Willis, that's a great straight-up defensive post pressure from Brittany Thomas to alter that shot. It's a miss. We're going back the other way. Thomas working in the low post on Wilson. Resetting the offense is DeLacy Brown, back to Madeline Moreau. DeLacy, Gower. Looking to seal up Thomas. DeLacy Brown wide open. Three, her fourth of the second half. Gives the Eagles a 4-point lead. They lose Jamison on the other end. It's a missed layup. She was rushed on the shot.
That's a great little adjustment there. I think putting Brown and Thomas back on the same side of the court with Brown in the corner, and she ends up wide open with another good look.
Well, if you can't stop it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Coach Mozga goes to it. Remember, he reset that possession offensively. You're going to call it out right now. DeLacy, one-on-one. They can't stop her, and one. Avila cannot contain her, and DeLacy Brown has 30. Woo! What a game for DeLacy Brown. Cal Baptist bound. And we'll have a timeout called by Sierra. They will try to regroup. Plenty of time to go. 5:46. Timeout on the floor. We'll do the same. DeLacy Brown with 30 in semifinal number 2. And she has her team in position to advance to championship Sunday. Made free throw and one opportunity converted. The lead is 7 for the Eagles on top of Sierra.
It's a 10-2 run.
More from 3. Good answer. Great players play big in big moments.
If they ultimately win that game, this game, that may be the shot that saved their season right there.
Moore now with 21. Moreau off to Williams. Gets a big screen from Gower at the high post. Spinning back middle. Willis with the steal. Wilson trying to contain it. Another scrum for the ball. Who's going to come away with it? It's Thomas. She's fouled by Jamison.
That's number 4 on Jamison as well.
Jamison with 4. Moore with 4.
You know, Sierra's only got 2 timeouts left. You think maybe in that situation, do you want to take a timeout to try and win possession of the ball? But then that only leaves you with 1 with 5:17 to go.
That's a lot of time to only have 1 timeout, especially when you want to save one under a minute. If you need to advance the ball, you want to have that timeout to be able to do that. Sometimes it's hard though to keep them in your pocket when you want to when you want to save a possession.
Yeah. First free throw off the mark for Brittany. Brittany now 5 of 9 from the stripe. Second free throw money.
That makes it a 20-20, I believe, for Brittany Thomas
I believe you were right. What a line for Brittany Thomas. Avila, Willis, closed out on by Gower. Here's Garvey. Garvey, step back 3 from way downtown off the back iron. Thomas tracks down rebound number 21. Gower, great job by Kayla. Still dribbling, knowing she was falling down to not get called for travel.
That was very close to foul number 5 for Braymore.
I think that's a good job by the official. She didn't lose possession of the ball, so there wasn't a need to call a foul.
DeLacy from 3, triple number 5 in the second half for DeLacy Brown. She's unconscious. Moore back the other way, fouled by Brittany.
Oh, look at that shot.
Just the 3rd on Brittany Thomas.
Hey, that's the first from that spot on the floor.
Or they're gonna wave off the foul. Say this is out of bounds off of Bree Moore.
Coach, I've never seen that. Can we see that one more time? Keep it on the replay here, Maddie.
It's called the jump ball.
Jump ball.
She overruled, the outside official overruled it.
Okay, the jump ball came in. That's
right.
Okay.
You know, looking at the replay, that's not a bad call. We saw a similar call at the end of the game that went against Palomar.
Right.
And Merced's win of the top seed in the state in quarterfinal number 1 on Thursday.
So San Jacinto's been exploding, exposing them on the high screens.
DeLacy going to work, floater up, no good. Thomas with a rebound, tapped out. Carla Johnson with it, another possession for the Eagles. Didn't hit the iron, Moore with the block. And Thomas comes through with the foul. That will be her third.
Honestly, Bree Moore does not know how to play any other way because that was just a risky play. Not only she blocked the three-point shot, she didn't just contest it.
No, she blocked it.
She blocked it. It's rolling the dice, but I get that's why they're where they are.
Mount San Jacinto up by 8, 4:06 to go. Semifinal number 2, the winner gets Merced. And the Eagles in position right now to advance. Moore to the rack. On Thomas. That shot altered. It's off the mark. Willis has that ball poked away. Thomas comes away with it, and she's fouled. And Sierra in the penalty. Mount San Jacinto, 2 free throws coming for Brittany Thomas.
So that's on
20
Willis.
points and 22 rebounds. Willis, her first foul.
I'm a little surprised, and this is interesting, Marcia, I'd be interested in your view on this, but we've seen a lot of effective shots come out of putting Thomas and DeLacy Brown on the same side of the floor, really putting the defense in a position where they're going to leave one of them open. And I'm a little surprised. I would think that maybe working more on the same side as Chanel Jamison might create the same kind of thing, and Jamison gets some open shots. But they like to have Jamison on the weak side, on the far side, when Moore goes to drive.
Well, I thought when they ran the horn set and set the screens up top and got Jamison to 3 that they were going to keep coming back to that.
Well, here it is to Jamison,
but I agree with you as she attacks being able to kick out to Jamison.
Avila kicks it out. This is going to be a reach-in foul called on DeLacy Brown, I believe. That's only going to be her second. She has 34. Oh, my goodness.
It's just the second on the team as well, which is a boon for the Eagles.
DeLacy Brown, 34 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. She's 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. 11 for 22 on the day. Have a night. That ball poked away by Octavia Williams. Scrum for the ball. Arrow in favor of Sierra. We're staying here.
Mount San Jacinto's defense has been outstanding. On the ball, off the ball, shot blocking.
Well, you talked about Fresno City in semifinal number 1 averaging 82 a game. 83 a game for Sierra on the year.
Yeah.
And Mount San Jacinto, they average 85.
Right.
And they only have 64, so the defensive job by Sierra has actually been pretty good. Only problem is the defensive effort on the other end has been even better.
I'll tell you, Carla Johnson, Octavia Williams, Madeline Morrow really doing a great job as a team defensively, really denying on those outside shots for Sierra. And their struggles from three-point range is a big part of why the Eagles have the lead.
And there's not a lot inside because you got Brittany Thomas in there and DeLacy Brown being a menace on the perimeter. Here's more. That one is an air ball. Avila comes away with it. Another jump ball. Arrow going back to the Eagles. Ball to red.
Sierra needs some stops now.
3:28 to go.
And I think what would be big here for Sierra is maybe a couple of shots coming in transition. And the Eagles are not allowing that tremendous transition defense. I can barely remember a real fast break opportunity in this game for Sierra.
She's so
Brown,
hard to press.
Yeah, able to easily break the press. And there's a long way to go here with over 3 minutes to go, but I'm starting to think about DeLacy Brown against that backcourt for Merced tomorrow and what kind of matchup that will be, working against Trinity Washington and Tajare McMahon if it holds in the current state right now.
It'll be fun to watch either way.
Good
Inside,
look.
great feed. Johnson can't finish. Gower with the offensive rebound. Another jump ball. Great job by Moore getting in there. Arrow back the other way.
You know, I look at the body language here, and I think Sierra is a little bit frustrated and in danger of being a little bit resigned here. I think the defense has really gotten to them, but they need to find it here. There's still over 3 minutes. There's a lot of time left to get this game is very far from being over.
It's a 3-possession game.
I think Moore's coming up and shooting a 3 right here. Nope. Willis on the perimeter, dribbles into the lane, kicks it back out, looking for Jamison. She has her. Jamison, great closeout by DeLacy Brown. Spin move. Jamison off the backboard. No good.
Wow.
Jamison spins and gets her own rebound, puts it up off the backboard, and it's a score for the Wolverines. Tough shot over Brittany Thomas. Brown trying to split the double team.
No, for Jamison, that's number 5.
And Jamison, or is it going to go against? No, it's going against Jamison. She's done.
That's a big blow.
That's a great job by DeLacy Brown, putting the onus on the defense, initiating contact, but really without a defender stint. She shoots the gap, and the whistle is blown, and that'll do it for Jamison.
Fouls out with 18 points.
Big blow, though. She can get them 3-point buckets.
So one of your 3-point assassins is out.
Man.
Meanwhile, here comes Tyler Marinan. She had a triple in the first.
And that sends the 3-point assassin to the line here today.
6 of 10 from beyond the arc.
You know, the lack of an inside game for Sierra has allowed San Jacinto to really press up. They're not worried about anybody being isolated down in the post.
If there's a chink in the armor on the stat line today for DeLacy Brown, it's at the free throw line. 6 of 11 after that miss.
And the whole team has really struggled, and that may be an opportunity for Sierra.
Friendly roll for DeLacy Brown now with 35. 2:33 to go. Moore into the lane. Over Thomas. Rebounded by Thomas. That's rebound number 23. Wow. Brown around some defenders. Puts it up on the rim. No. Tapped out of bounds off of Octavia Williams. It'll go back to Sierra.
How about the job that Mount San Jacinto has done in this second half, not fouling Bree Moore? Barely sending her to the line, contesting shots, but staying away from the contact that allows her to get to the line.
Well, going to be a little critical of Mount San Jacinto. That was a rush shot. Could have killed some time off of that clock, and that's a foul or travel. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Marinan, I thought she pulled her down a little bit. DeLacy Brown, they're going to rule that she falls down just very hard. Find it hard to believe a player with her type of athleticism and balance falls down for no reason down low in traffic. And I'm sure Coach Chris Mosga wondering the same thing. Kick it outside. Here's Avila. Gets a screen, thought about it from 3, closed out on by Madeline Moreau. That's a foul on Carla Johnson, only the 13th foul for the Eagles here in the 4th.
Yeah, you're okay if you're Carla Johnson there. You got the foul to give.
Got one more to give before the penalty.
They're really, really pressing up.
They're tough to get a shot off.
Yeah,
against,
they are.
Unless you're Bree Moore, and even then, Moore, what's happening with her? She's overcommitting into the area where Brittany Thomas is such a factor and having her shot altered at will. Wilson from the corner, it's a 3, it's long, rebounded on the weak side by DeLacy Brown. Off to Carla Johnson. Johnson, DeLacy Brown might be the matchup to watch versus the guards of Merced in the final on Sunday. Still 1:45 to go in this one. We've seen crazier things happen. Taj McMahon, Trinity watching, Washington likely watching on.
Sierra 5 of 30 from 3-point range in this game.
Wow. Moore, spin move, maybe traveled. No whistle, but the ball's on the deck, and it comes off to the Eagles. Johnson loses that one. Moore comes away with it from 3. Bree Moore off the mark. She hits the deck. It's rebounded by Wilson, or Willis rather. Alika Bowens, or Keela Bowens rather, excuse me. There's just a lot of helter-skelter action here for Sierra. They're going to take a timeout with possession, 23 left on the shot clock. A full timeout? No, 30-second. Let's keep it here. Coach, what are you telling your players down 8 in this moment?
We need to attack the basket. We have to attack the basket, either try to get a bucket and an and one or get to the free throw line. And then we need to press. We have 1:22. We need to press, and we need to foul if we don't get it, because we're down too many possessions and they're milking the clock on the other end of the floor. First,
I feel like it's amazing that as impressed as we've been with Brittany Thomas and the 20-plus points and rebounds in this game, I don't think there's been any area where she's been bigger than what she means defensively and the way that they have been able to defend the perimeter, knowing that they have Thomas backing them up on a drive. It's what makes them so difficult defensively when you have a great shot blocker back there.
You know, if Sierra could put a shooter, if Brittany Thomas had to guard a shooter, she'd have to come out.
Glasgow Williams.
Yeah, you wonder about that. That's that kind of stretchability.
Because she's just hanging out in that lane.
Brown with the steal. This might be the dagger that ends it, and one.
Well, there's something fitting about that. That does finally
the Eagles
salt it away.
Digging a hole and leading the way with the shovel right now. And in this ball game, it's been DeLacy Brown. She has 37. She's at the stripe for possibly one more.
You know, Brown far and away the high point total in any single game so far on the weekend, but this is going to be a tough one to top.
Yeah, DeLacy didn't exactly put a stamp on it. She took a jackhammer to it here in the semifinals.
She sure did.
Man.
Everywhere. Attacking the press, knocking down a three.
Cal Baptist opponents next year, beware. DeLacy and Brittany are coming your way. 1:08 remaining. DeLacy Brown with 38. It's an 11-point lead here from Mount San Jacinto. Bree Moore on Carla Johnson, step back three-pointer. That one's long. Brittany Thomas, another rebound. That's number 24. Off to Carla Johnson. And Mount San Jacinto.
And that will be number 5 on Bree Moore.
Number 5 on Bree Moore, and that will end her night. DeLacy going to the line. She's looking for points 39 and 40. Incredible season for Bree Moore, the top players in the state of California. Obviously an emotional time for her right now.
It's funny, I don't actually think she was trying to foul on that play, because they could have fouled earlier.
Yeah. Free throw is up and good by DeLacy Brown.
It's 39. Wow.
The performance of the tournament on either sides of the brackets. She's got 40.
You know, Mike, I really appreciate, and I like the analogy that you draw to last year, because that's starting to be the feel for tomorrow. It's another very compelling matchup in the women's final between a very upstart team in Merced that comes in here playing just phenomenal basketball against a team that looks for all the world like a true favorite. And a very daunting opponent.
It's incredible. The similarities, you look at Mount San Jacinto, they are an absolute physical juggernaut, much like Mount Sac was a year ago.
Yep.
And College of the Siskiyous last year was very guard-oriented. Wilson from 3, off the mark. 29 seconds to go, and Lacey Brown can dribble it out. Shot clock turned off. Sierra still going after it.
And Avila now is fouled out, and you know, it just speaks to, as they lose a couple of players here, 3 at least to disqualification in this game. That's the physical challenge of playing Mount San Jacinto. They just put so much pressure on you.
The Rams of Fresno City and the San Diego City College Knights, semifinal number 1 in the men's bracket, will duke it out after this one. An absolute joy to watch of a matchup here in semifinal number 2 for the women.
This has been a great game. It truly was a heavyweight battle. Now, we talked about earlier, you got to have players, big players that have to make big plays in big games. And that's exactly what DeLacy Brown did.
Yeah,
Thomas did.
Their 2 leaders just showed up absolutely huge in this game.
Sure
and
did.
2 leaders showed up in the last game for Merced in Trinity Washington and Taj McMahon.
Yeah.
And man, that I can't wait to see that matchup tomorrow at 1 o'clock. First free throw off the mark for DeLacy Brown. Here's a second. She has 41. .41 for DeLacy Brown, 21 and 24 for Brittany Thomas, make it 25. Very fitting that the game will end on a Thomas rebound, and DeLacy Brown holding the ball. That'll do it. 71-59. The women's bracket for Championship Sunday is set. It's Merced and Mount San Jacinto. Come back in a moment with a few words, and we'll start up our conversations about semifinal number 1 for the men. Back in a moment here on SoCal College Sports. The championship bracket is set on the women's side. It's Merced and now Mount San Jacinto. A decisive win at the end in the nip and tuck battle through 3 quarters. The Eagles pull away and knock off the top seed from the north.
Great job by DeLacy Brown. Brittany Thomas demanded so much attention that it opened up the outside, and DeLacy Brown was able to knock it down, open the game up. And they didn't give Bree Moore anything. We talked about that. She couldn't get to the basket, couldn't get the N1. So just a great job by San Jacinto. Yeah,
great adjustments coming out of halftime on both sides of the ball. DeLacy Brown obviously leads the way offensively, but we also talked about being very impressed defensively with what they do. And, you know, the three-point shot is so very critical, and I think this was another good example of that. You give all the credit in the world to Mount San Jacinto. They knocked down the shots, and Sierra struggled to find the range in the second half, and I think that, as much as anything, also was a big determining factor.
A double-double for DeLacy Brown, 41 and 10. A 20 and 20 performance for Brittany Thomas, the 2 lead dogs here for Mount San Jacinto, really showing out in the semifinals. And you know, Bree Moore, an incredible season. She goes out 21-6-5, does foul out, but really foul trouble was a factor, and it didn't really allow her to get into a rhythm. And she still had 21-6-5. That's how great of a player she is. And obviously she'll be moving on to a 4-year university, considering how good she is and what we saw out of her this weekend.
Absolutely. She still found a way to be to have an impact on the game. Even as she played with 3 fouls, 4 fouls, she gave him an opportunity to be in the game. And you want your players to step up on the big time, when it counts, and she did. I just think San Jacinto's defense was so good. Brittany Thomas holding down the middle. They pressed up so much on the outside that it made it difficult to do the things they normally do.
She played well over a quarter. I want to say about 11 or 12 minutes with 3 fouls, where a 4th foul would have really put her on the bench for a long stretch and probably ended her team's season. That's a lot of pressure to play under. I thought she showed remarkable poise out there and great leadership, and that speaks to her ability to advance to the next level, where certainly we expect she'll be playing.
Absolutely.
Well, that'll do it for semifinals. Well, for the semifinals for the women's bracket. Coming up, it's the men's Fresno City and San Diego City, the defending state champs. That'll do it for Marcia here today. We'll see you back tomorrow at 1 p.m. as Merced will take on Mount San Jacinto. That is a matchup I can't wait to watch. Marcia, incredible job this week, and we look forward to tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. I enjoyed being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got one more left. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be here. We can't wait.
We'll sign off here. Let's get our thank yous out of the way. Will Cowan, athletic director here, athletic director of the year. In California.
George
Matagakis, Mike Robles, the entire crew here at SoCal College Sports, Emery Johnson, Matt Henson, Lissa Root, Jorge Cepeda, you guys, Marcia Foster, Jeff Soronoff. I'm Mike Cepeda. We're signing off. Back in a moment with the men's